It says in Orchot Tzadikim, the gate of truth. It says that the zuchut of a person, he only speaks the truth, that people will listen to what he says, right? And he says there's no greater quality than speaking the truth, as we have warned in the Torah, midvar sheker tirhak. Stay far away from falsehood. Nowhere in the Torah it says stay away from kosher food. It doesn't say in Torah stay away from stealing. It doesn't say in Torah stay away from many averot, but from lying. Torah says you have to stay far away. One should accustom himself to always walk in truth, study Torah so you know the truth, and be able to perform the mitzvot. You should study Agadah also. What's Agadah? Is stories and homiletics. It's lessons we learn from the Torah, moral lessons. That way you'll be more motivated to follow the truth and follow the path of the Torah. And a big sign you did teshuvah fully in truth is when you're willing to accept the truth from any person. Even if a little kid comes and tells you, hey, you did halacha wrong. You're supposed to do like this. If you're emet, you say, you're 100% right. Even though you're younger than me, I'm going to accept it from you. Chachamim, many times in the Gemara, they said stories like this, where the Gemara says that the Rabbi Yeshua, he was walking in the path, he saw a little girl carrying a pot. And he said, what's inside the pot? And the girl said, if my mother wanted you to know, she wouldn't cover it. There's a lid for a reason. So he said, oh, this girl, she put me in my place. She's emet. And he didn't fight with her. He didn't get upset. He said, the provenance, because you said the right thing. She's true. So you see that even the Chachamim, they allowed little children to beat them in logic, and they accepted, and they said the truth is the truth. Now in exile, Chas v'shalom, it's very, very difficult. Why? Because we live amongst the Goyim, we live amongst other nations who don't have our values. And what happens? A lot of them fall to not even their own values. They fall to their vanities of the world. Haval havalim, Kohelet says. Vanities of vanities, right? You know the famous lesson they say from that. Why does Shlomo HaMelech say everything is worthless? Everything's vanity? He says, what do you mean? There's a lot of good stuff in the world. He says, it means that this world, everything physical, is like a zero, right? If you have a lot of physical things, you just have a lot of zeros. What's 20 zeros in a row? Zero. But if you take those 20 zeros and you put a 1 in front of it, right? You give it Torah, mitzvot, attach it to the truth. So then now your 20 zeros became trillions of dollars because the 1 in front made everything value, right? So that's what Shlomo HaMelech is saying. Everything is vanity of vanities. Everything in this world is nonsense. It's a zero. If you uplift the zero and added something, attach it to something meaningful, then it becomes something meaningful. But otherwise, just for itself is a vanity. So therefore, he says we have to be careful not to fall into the trap of the Goyim and following their ways and the ways of the world where they think that there's no Olam Haba and they think that the main thing is to make money and to have kavod. You have a big following online, and you get likes and you get views, and you're famous, and people give you honor. You walk on the red carpet, and you go vacationing the world, see the world, and everywhere you should go, people should know you and ask for your autograph, and that's what life is about: becoming famous, rich, and enjoying as much as you can of this world. And that's a big sheker. Why? Because that takes you away from preparing for Olam Haba. That's eternity. That's what you really should be focusing on. The famous story of the Chafetz Chaim, he came to the guy visiting to Chafetz Chaim, and he said, where are you from? He says, I'm from America. He says, what are you here for? He says, I'm here for some business. I came to get baracha from the rabbi. He says, I see the rabbi's house. The rabbi barely has chairs, no couches. You're sitting on a crate. You're sitting on a box, studying Torah. What is this? Where's your furniture? He says, let me ask you, where'd you come from? He says, I came from America. He says, and what did you bring with you? He says, this is everything I have, everything I can wear, everything I have is just in this little luggage. He says, why didn't you bring your couch? Where's your furniture? He says, what do you mean? I'm here temporarily. He says, me too. I'm only here temporarily, so I don't even need to invest in a couch and this, curtains. What do I need curtains for? I mean, I'm just passing by here soon. I'm out of here. You think I need to sit here, build a house for 5 years, and then live in it for another 10, 15 years, and then I want to change everything anyways, make remont again, and then I might move, and then by the time this, by the time that, it's going to be 70 years, I got to go Olam Haba already. What? I wasted all my time for all this in this world? For what? So the person can know that, but he can forget it. It's very easy to go out because you see everybody around you doesn't look like that. Everybody else running. Everybody's believing that you got this world, and it can be contagious. You can get sucked into it if you don't constantly learn musar, constantly remind yourself to the truth. There's a story with the Rasul Salanter. He was giving a shiur. So during the shiur, one of the students asked the rabbi after the shiur. He said, "Rabbi, I was so motivated by your shiur." He says, "I don't have so much time to learn. I only have 5 minutes a day to learn. What should I learn?" He said, "You should learn musar." He says, "Why?" "When you learn Gemara, Halacha, this, that. Why musar?" He said, "Learn musar, and you're going to realize you have way more than 5 minutes to learn. Once you learn musar, you're going to realize how this world is so temporary, and there's so much more important things to focus on. You're going to realize the truth. You're going to make more time to be able to study other things that you need to study." So therefore, Rasul Santo said, study in those 5 minutes musar. The person has to be so stick to the truth. And there's another story of the Rasul Salanter who was giving a shiur. He prepared a whole lecture based on one very strong question in some Gemara, and he wanted to give a whole complicated, beautiful explanation of this answer. So right when he was giving the question, he was about to give the answer, one young student raised his hand. He said, "Oh, Kvod Rav, I don't understand the question. It's very simple. This and this issue. No?" He stopped and he thought. He said, "You're right," and he sat down. They invited him to come speak, to give a whole nice lecture on the Gemara. The guy asked him one question and blew up his whole shiur. He said, "You know what? I shouldn't say what I'm going to say. I don't need to say it because his question is a valid question. Everything else is bracha lavatala." And he sat down. Meaning, he embarrassed himself. That's all the sign of a person acquire the truth. I don't care. Truth is the truth, and I don't need to comment. People give me kavod, and you see, I gave the lecture, and Some people who don't have the truth, the midah of truth, they'll say, "Nah, your question, give him baloney answer. Why? His question wasn't a good question. That way, I can continue giving my lecture." No, emet is emet. He stopped saying the lecture because his question was valid. So they say that in Navarlik, they used to yeshiva in Europe. They used to want the boys to acquire very much the midah of truth and not gava and being humble. They used to make the boys go into the hardware store and ask them for groceries. "Do you guys sell cheese?" Or they go to the grocery store, "Do you guys have nails? Do you guys have hammers?" And everybody would laugh at them. "Are you crazy? You come into a grocery store asking for hammers? What are you asking for?" So they knew it. They did it on purpose in order that they should be looked at in a funny way, and they should get accustomed to be shoteh, but they learn how to be shoteh for the truth. The Gemara says, better you should be shoteh in this world than you should be shoteh in Olam Haba. So therefore, who cares what other people say? I have to do the right thing. Don't fight with other people, but you shouldn't let them bother you just because everybody else is not following the truth. You have to follow the truth. As it says, a person has to make sure not to lie to anybody, or even to non-Jews, right? A person has to be careful. The Ben Ish Chai says it's very bad that if a person thinks it's okay to steal from Goyim. It's okay, who cares? No, the Ben Ish Chai says it's worse. He says, because then the angel in Shamayim from that nation that you stole from, he causes a very big prosecution on the Jewish nation. And afterwards he says, now they took from me, let me have permission to take from them. And then Haz Shalom, he has dominion over us, Haz Shalom, he has rights over us, because we're messing with them. So the person has to make sure, be like Rabbi Shimon Beshetach. Rabbi Shimon Beshetach said, they bought a donkey, he's tired of walking everywhere, so his students bought him a donkey. He was carrying all his stuff with him, so they bought him a donkey to carry his stuff. And then the day he bought the donkey, he saw a beautiful gem on the donkey, and then the student says, Kvod Rav, that's it? You won the lottery, you got a huge gem. He says, no, I bought a donkey, I didn't buy a gem. He gave back the gem to the Ishmaelite. What did the Ishmaelite say? He says, blessed is the God of Rabbi Shimon Beshetach. He says, wow, I see this person, he's a godly person. Whoever your God is, they're blessed that they made a person like you. How a person can steal and nobody will know, it's okay, just take it. And you have the Yirat Shamayim to go and say, no, I emet is emet, and I have to give back what I bought a donkey, that's it. So therefore we should learn from this. You have to stick to the truth, don't forsake the truth. It says, the pasuk, emet me'eretz tismach, v'tzedek mishamayim nishkaf. The pasuk says, the truth grows from the ground. What does that mean? That means that who is going to be able to stick to the truth? The one who bends to pick up the truth. If you don't have humility and you don't realize this world is temporary, you won't bend over. People want to have ga'ava. If you have ga'ava, you will never find the truth because you'll never be able to reach the truth. Baruch Adonai.